All right, welcome everybody. If you're trying to squeeze every last drop of precision out of your hand loads, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're getting into one of the most critical steps out there, really mastering the setup of your full-length sizing die. Let's get to it.
So, let's just start with the million-dollar question. Is your sizing die actually set up correctly? You know, it's something a lot of reloaders struggle with, but getting this right, oh man, it's the secret to unlocking that tack-driving accuracy, getting flawless reliability, and even making your expensive brass last way longer.
Really, our whole mission today, the entire point of this process, it all boils down to one simple thing: achieving the perfect shoulder bump. This isn't just about squishing brass back into shape. It's about perfectly tailoring each and every case to your specific rifle's chamber.
So what in the world is a shoulder bump? Well, to put it simply, it's just the act of pushing the case's shoulder back a super tiny, really precise amount when you resize it. And when I say tiny, I mean it. We're talking about 1 to 2 thousandths of an inch. It's a game of microscopic adjustments that has a huge, huge impact downrange. Okay, so why do we obsess over this tiny, tiny measurement? Well, for one, a perfect bump means your bolt closes smoothly like butter, which is absolutely critical for reliability. It also means you're not overworking your brass, which can literally double or even triple its lifespan. And maybe most importantly, it creates unbelievable consistency from one round to the next, and that, my friends, is the absolute foundation of accuracy.
Now, to pull this off, you can't just eyeball it. It's not going to work. You need a specific set of tools for the job. So let's talk about what's in this precision toolkit.
First off, you're going to need a good set of digital or dial calipers. Second, and listen, this one is non-negotiable. You need a headspace comparator. This is a special little gadget that attaches to your calipers and lets you measure from the base of the case to a specific spot on the shoulder. And finally, you'll need the right caliber-specific insert or bushing for that comparator. Seriously, without these tools, you're just flying blind.
All right, with our tools ready, let's get into the actual setup process. I know it can seem a little intimidating, but trust me, we can break it down into a super simple and, most importantly, a repeatable 3-step method.
Here's the game plan. It's really simple. First, we measure a case that's been fired in your rifle to figure out what your chamber actually looks like. Second, we do a tiny bit of super simple math to figure out our target length. And third, we just carefully adjust the die until we hit that magic number. That's it.
Okay, let's dig into step 1. The most important thing here, and I can't stress this enough, is to use brass that has been fired only in the rifle you are loading for. See, when you fire a round, the brass expands and perfectly molds itself to the unique dimensions of your chamber. We call that fire forming. So by measuring 3 to 5 of these cases and averaging the numbers, you find your average fired length, or AFL. Think of this number as your rifle's own unique fingerprint.
Now for step 2, the math. And don't worry, this is as easy as it gets. You just take your average fired length, in this example it's 1.6502 inches, and you subtract your desired shoulder bump. For most bolt-action rifles, 2 thousandths of an inch is a fantastic starting point, and that gives us our target size length, or TSL, which is 1.6482 inches. That is the number we are chasing.
And there it is, 2 thousandths of an inch. Let that sink in. That's the incredibly small distance we're trying to control. It is literally thinner than a human hair, and learning how to nail this measurement is what separates good hand loads from truly exceptional ones. All right, now for the hands-on part, adjusting the die. The key here is to start with the die screwed way out so it is not touching the shell holder when you raise the press ram all the way up. Then you'll run a lubed case through, measure it, and make a tiny, tiny downward turn on the die. You just repeat that cycle. Adjust, size, measure, adjust, size, measure, until you hit your target number. Patience is your friend here.
And to really put this into perspective, check this out. One single full rotation of your sizing die moves it about 71 thousandths of an inch. But our entire target, the whole window we're aiming for, is only 2 thousandths. This shows you perfectly why you can't just do this by feel. You have to make unbelievably small, deliberate adjustments to sneak up on that number.
So let's say you did it. You hit your target number on the calipers. Awesome. But how can you be 100% sure you didn't accidentally push the shoulder back a little too far? Well, let me show you a fantastic pro tip that gives you a foolproof physical check. It's called the tape test.
You know, as the great precision shooter Eric Cortina always says, the proof is in the pudding. right? Your calipers can tell you one thing, but confirming that fit in your actual rifle, that is the ultimate test.
And the test couldn't be simpler. First, take that case you just sized to your target length and make sure the bolt closes on it easily. No problem. Next, stick a tiny piece of regular clear tape on the head of the case. That tape ends about 2/1000ths of an inch of thickness. Then just try to chamber that exact same case one more time. And here's where the magic happens. If the bolt handle won't close, or if it closes with that same firm feeling you get from a fired case, you've absolutely nailed it. That little piece of tape effectively canceled out your shoulder bump, bringing the case right back to its fired size. This is your proof that you didn't push the shoulder back too far. Your bump is perfect.
Now, this measurement method is by far the most precise way to do it. But it's worth taking a quick second to talk about the other ways people tackle this, just so you have the complete picture. So you've basically got two camps. On one side, you have the measurement method we just walked through. The pro is that it's incredibly precise. The con is that you need that comparator tool. On the other side is what people call the feel method. You basically adjust the die down until a sized case lets the bolt close smoothly. The pro is you don't need special tools, but the huge con is that it's way less accurate and really hard to get the same results consistently from one reloading session to the next.
And hey, for those of you who want to take this to the absolute next level, there are things called full-length bushing dies. These are more advanced tools that let you control the neck tension, that's the grip the case has on the bullet, using different sized bushings, while you're setting your shoulder bump with the main die body. It gives you independent control over both of those critical dimensions, which is pretty cool.
So, I think the big takeaway here is that real, true precision is found in these little details. By making the switch from, that feels about right, to being meticulous and measuring every time, you can unlock a level of consistency and accuracy you might not have even thought was possible. So the only real question left is, how much more accuracy is hiding in your process? Thanks for tuning in.